The stadium cheers have faded, the roar of fans silenced, but Cristiano Ronaldo's most surprising match is about to begin. Tonight, not under floodlights, but under the twinkling glow of Christmas lights, he faces a challenge unlike any goal he's ever scored. Will Ronaldo find the magic of Christmas? Or will this holiday be a game he can't win? The stadium roared with its usual deafening sound, a cacophony of cheering fans, clanging drums, and the rhythmic chants of thousands, all echoing through the night sky. The floodlights blazed down, illuminating the green pitch where Cristiano Ronaldo had just finished another extraordinary match, scoring goals that would later be replayed in highlight reels across the world. Every move, every strike, every celebratory leap had been captured by countless cameras, freezing moments of brilliance in time. But as the final whistle blew, the deafening applause began to fade, replaced by an unusual silence that seemed to envelop the stadium like a thick, invisible curtain. Ronaldo, always the image of focus and determination on the field, now walked slowly towards the tunnel, his boots crunching lightly against the well-worn grass. The usual adrenaline that surged through him during the game had not yet left, but there was a strange anticipation in the air, something different, something almost mysterious. The stadium lights flickered briefly, as if acknowledging that tonight was not just another night. Ronaldo adjusted his jersey, his eyes scanning the emptying stands. Most fans had already begun to leave, yet a few lingered, holding on to the final moments, their faces still lit with admiration and awe. But he barely noticed them. His mind was elsewhere. A sense of expectation coursed through him, an unfamiliar, almost magical feeling, the kind he had not experienced on the pitch or in the locker room. He reached the tunnel entrance, and for a brief moment, he paused. The tunnel seemed longer than usual, stretching into shadows that contrasted sharply with the brightness of the field. The muffled sounds of the crowd behind him seemed to fade further with each step he took, replaced by the faint echo of his own heartbeat, thumping steadily in his chest. It was as if the stadium itself were preparing him for something entirely new, something beyond football, something unexpected. Outside the stadium, the air was crisp, biting gently at his face, in stark contrast to the heated intensity of the match. The night sky stretched endlessly above, dotted with twinkling stars that seemed unusually bright, almost as if they were guiding him towards an unknown journey. Ronaldo pulled his jacket tighter around him, feeling the sudden chill brush against his skin. The familiar hum of city life was distant, replaced by a gentle silence that seemed to wrap around him like a soft, heavy blanket. The parking lot was empty save for a sleek, black car waiting at the edge, its engine quietly humming, ready to transport him somewhere, though he did not yet know exactly where. The headlights cast long, stretched shadows across the pavement, shadows that seemed almost alive, moving steadily as he approached. Ronaldo felt a shiver run down his spine, not from the cold, but from the sheer weight of anticipation. What awaited him tonight was nothing like a game, nothing like a stadium celebration, yet somehow it carried the same intensity, the same pulse-racing energy, the same promise of challenge and triumph. As he opened the car door and slid into the leather seat, he could not shake the feeling that this was the beginning of something extraordinary. The driver, a silent figure dressed in a black coat, nodded once, acknowledging him without words. Ronaldo stared out of the window as the city lights blurred past, leaving the familiar behind and taking him towards something entirely unknown. The night seemed alive with possibilities, each shadow and flicker of light whispering secrets that only he could sense. And then, as the car turned a corner and left the stadium far behind, a faint glimmer appeared on the horizon, soft, golden lights twinkling like tiny beacons against the dark sky. The sight was unexpected, almost surreal, and for the first time that night, Ronaldo allowed himself a small, curious smile. Something told him that this was no ordinary journey home, no casual end to a night of triumph. There was a story, unfolding a story that would challenge him in ways the football pitch never had. A story that would demand not just skill and strength, but heart, presence, and the courage to embrace the unknown. For a brief moment, he closed his eyes, letting the quiet of the night seep into him, grounding him. He could feel the shift, subtle but undeniable, the transition from the world he knew, the world of matches and trophies, to something entirely new, something magical. And as the car continued its journey, winding through streets bathed in the soft glow of lamplights, the first hint of snow began to fall, tiny flakes drifting lazily through the air, melting almost before they touched the ground. Ronaldo watched them silently, the surreal beauty of the scene sinking in. He had seen stadiums filled with roaring fans, witnessed triumphs and defeats, glory and heartbreak. Yet nothing compared to the quiet, almost sacred stillness of this moment. The snowflakes seemed to carry with them a promise that tonight would be different, a promise that beyond the stadium and the fame, there was a world waiting to be discovered, a world that held surprises, warmth, and the kind of magic that could touch even the greatest of stars. And so, as the car drove on, with snow beginning to blanket the ground, and the distant horizon glowing with the soft lights of what looked like a hidden village, Ronaldo felt a strange mix of excitement and uncertainty. The roar of the stadium was gone, replaced by silence. The cheers of fans had faded, replaced by anticipation. And somewhere deep inside, he knew this night would not be measured in goals, victories, or accolades, but in something far more profound: discovery, wonder, and the quiet magic of a Christmas he had never truly experienced before. Every heartbeat, every breath, every glance out of the window carried him closer to a new story where Ronaldo would not just play for the crowd, but for something far more personal, far more human. And as the lights of the village grew brighter, as snow swirled like glittering dust around him, he could not help but wonder what awaited him in the next few hours. What surprises, what joys, what unexpected challenges lay ahead. The stage was set. The night was alive. And for Cristiano Ronaldo, the most extraordinary match of all, one not measured by goals, trophies, or stadium applause, was just beginning. The car emerged from the dark city streets and entered a road lined with towering pines, their branches heavy with freshly fallen snow. The air smelled crisp and pure, a stark contrast to the stadium's noise and the city's chaos. Ronaldo pressed his forehead gently against the cold glass of the window, eyes wide, as the world outside transformed into a winter wonderland. Soft snowflakes began to drift from the sky, twirling lazily before settling on the ground. Each flake seemed to shimmer under the faint golden glow of distant lanterns, giving the scene an almost dreamlike quality. The village ahead glowed warmly, lights flickering like tiny stars, inviting and mysterious. Ronaldo's heart raced not with adrenaline from the match, but with a new, different excitement, the kind that made him feel alive in a way he hadn't in years. The car slowed, winding through narrow streets lined with charming cottages dusted in snow. Smoke curled lazily from chimneys, and the faint sound of distant laughter and festive music reached his ears. The entire scene was surreal, almost cinematic, a stark departure from stadium lights and roaring crowds. Ronaldo could barely contain a small, amazed smile. For a moment, he let himself forget fame, trophies, and pressure. He stepped out of the car, and the cold air bit at his cheeks. Snow crunched under his boots as he walked forward, each step leaving a perfect imprint in the white carpet. A sense of anticipation tingled in the air. This was no ordinary place, no ordinary night. He could feel that something magical was waiting, hidden behind the glowing windows and chimneys. A Christmas adventure unlike any he had ever imagined was about to begin. And as he looked up, a flake landed on his shoulder, melting instantly, yet leaving a tingling spark of excitement. Ronaldo inhaled deeply. The quiet of the snowy night was intoxicating. This was more than just a visit. It was the start of a journey where magic, mystery, and family awaited him, promising surprises that no stadium, no goal, and no trophy could ever match. Ronaldo stepped forward on the snow-covered path, and the glow from the village lights grew brighter, reflecting softly on the white ground. In the distance, he saw them, his children, running toward him, bundled in colorful winter coats, their laughter ringing through the crisp night air. The sight pulled at something deep inside him, a warmth that had nothing to do with trophies or stadium applause. His heart swelled as they reached him, their small arms wrapping tightly around his legs. Ronaldo bent down, lifting them into a gentle embrace, feeling the soft weight of each child against him. It was a hug that carried all the unspoken words of love, protection, and gratitude. For the first time in weeks, maybe months, he allowed himself to simply breathe, to feel present, and to let the pressures of fame and perfection melt away like the snowflakes falling around them. A soft chuckle escaped him as his youngest tugged at his hand, pointing excitedly toward the glowing houses decorated with twinkling lights. "Look, Papa, Santa will come soon," the child exclaimed, eyes shining with excitement. Ronaldo smiled, his gaze softening, and hugged his partner who had quietly joined them, warmth radiating from her, completing the circle of family. The snow fell gently around them, each flake seeming to dance in the soft golden light, creating a serene and almost magical atmosphere. Ronaldo looked down at his children, their faces glowing with happiness, and felt a rare, almost overwhelming peace. In this moment, stadiums, fans, and fame seemed like distant memories. What mattered now was here love, laughter, and the simple joy of being together as a family. For a brief second, the world seemed to pause, holding its breath with them. And as Ronaldo lifted his children once more, spinning them in a playful circle, he realized that this was a different kind of victory, the kind that could never be measured in goals or trophies, but in smiles, hugs, and the quiet magic of a Christmas night. The family stepped inside a cozy cottage, the warm glow of a crackling fireplace greeting them. In the corner stood a towering Christmas tree, its bare branches waiting patiently for the magic that would soon transform them. Ronaldo's children ran ahead, eyes wide with excitement, already pointing to the boxes of ornaments, tinsel, and sparkling lights stacked neatly nearby. "Let's make it the most magical tree ever," one of the children exclaimed, bouncing on their heels. Ronaldo chuckled, feeling a playful energy he hadn't felt in years, and nodded, kneeling down to help untangle strings of lights. The tangle seemed endless, yet every knot felt like a small adventure, and the laughter that followed made the room feel alive with warmth. His partner placed a delicate ornament in his hand, a shiny golden football, and Ronaldo's eyes softened. He gently hung it on a sturdy branch, stepping back to admire how it caught the light. Around him, children were carefully arranging their favorite ornaments, occasionally bumping into each other, their giggles filling the room. Every misplaced bauble, every accidental tumble of tinsel only added to the charm. Snowflakes from outside brushed against the windows, adding a magical shimmer to the scene. Ronaldo felt a strange, almost surreal sense of peace and joy. Here, away from stadium lights and roaring crowds, he was just a father, a partner, a man sharing a simple yet extraordinary moment with his family. As the final strands of lights were draped, and the ornaments hung just so, the room seemed to glow brighter. Ronaldo lifted his children onto his shoulders, spinning them slowly while they laughed uncontrollably. In that moment, the world outside ceased to exist. The magic wasn't in the lights or ornaments, it was in the laughter, the togetherness, and the fleeting feeling that tonight, anything was possible. And somewhere deep inside, Ronaldo sensed that this Christmas was only just beginning, and that the true magic of the season was yet to reveal itself. The soft jingling of bells echoed through the cottage doorway, and Ronaldo's children froze mid-step, eyes widening in disbelief. "Santa," one of them whispered, hardly daring to breathe. Outside, the snow swirled gently, and a figure dressed in red emerged from the glow of lanterns, carrying a large sack that seemed impossibly heavy. Ronaldo's heart skipped a beat, a mixture of surprise and delight coursing through him. He had seen stadiums filled with roaring crowds, EXPRINCED adrenaline-filled triumphs, and faced pressure most could never imagine, but nothing compared to the awe and wonder reflected in his children's eyes at this very moment. Santa's deep, jovial laugh filled the room. Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas! The children squealed with excitement, rushing forward as Ronaldo followed, smiling warmly. Feeling the contagious joy of the moment, the figure knelt down, offering gifts from his oversized sack, shiny wrapped boxes, sparkling toys, and even little surprises Ronaldo hadn't expected. As each child received a present, their laughter mixed with the crackle of the fireplace, creating a melody of pure holiday magic. Ronaldo bent down to adjust a scarf around his youngest's neck and noticed the gleam in Santa's eyes. There was something almost knowing, a sense that this visit was meant to teach more than just giving. It was about love, wonder, and presence. Ronaldo couldn't help but laugh as the children tried to imitate Santa's ho ho ho, their voices overlapping, slightly off-key but perfectly charming. He reached for a small gift from the sack, placing it carefully in his pocket with a smile. Though he was a superstar on the field, tonight he was simply a father sharing a magical, unforgettable moment with his family. As the snow continued to fall softly outside, Ronaldo felt the warmth of the room wrap around him. The night was alive with joy, mystery, and a hint of surprise still lingering in the air. Somewhere between the twinkling lights, the laughter, and the gentle snowflakes, he sensed that the true magic of Christmas was only just beginning, and that this night, unlike any other, would be etched forever in their hearts. The scene ended with Ronaldo watching his children giggle with Santa, the gentle twinkle of lights reflecting in his eyes, knowing that this was a victory far greater than any scored on a football pitch. The family gathered around a wooden table near the crackling fireplace, the warm glow casting dancing shadows on the walls. The scent of roasted dishes and sweet pastries filled the air, blending perfectly with the soft aroma of pine from the Christmas tree. Ronaldo poured hot cocoa into mugs, his hands brushing against his children's as they giggled in excitement. Stories were shared between bites, laughter echoing softly, blending with the gentle pop of the fire. Outside, snowflakes drifted lazily, adding a serene rhythm to the room's warmth. Ronaldo watched his family, their faces illuminated with happiness, and felt a rare, profound peace. For a moment, trophies, stadiums, and fame vanished from his mind. Here, in this simple yet magical moment, he realized that the true essence of Christmas wasn't gifts or lights, it was love, togetherness, and the quiet joy of sharing a meal with those who mattered most. After dinner, Ronaldo stepped quietly to the window, the glow of Christmas lights and gently falling snow reflecting in his eyes. For a moment, he was alone with his thoughts, far from stadium roars and cheering crowds. The peaceful night wrapped around him like a soft blanket, giving him space to reflect. He thought of the countless goals, victories, and accolades, yet none felt as fulfilling as this simple, quiet moment with his family. The laughter echoing from the next room reminded him that true success wasn't measured in trophies, but in love, connection, and shared joy. A soft smile crossed his face as he whispered a silent gratitude. Outside, the snow shimmered under the moonlight, almost like it was acknowledging his realization. In that stillness, Ronaldo felt a deep, almost magical understanding. Some victories are unseen, but they shine brighter than any stadium light ever could. Ronaldo picked up his phone, the soft glow of the screen illuminating his face as he typed a message to millions of fans across the globe. Merry Christmas to all my fans. May your holidays be filled with love, joy, and magic, he wrote, adding a heartfelt photo of his family by the Christmas tree. As he hit send, he imagined the faces lighting up around the world, children in Europe, teens in South America, families in Asia sharing a moment of warmth with him despite the distance. For a superstar accustomed to headlines, trophies, and stadium roars, this simple act carried a profound connection. Messages poured in instantly, replies filled with emojis, thanks, and excitement. Ronaldo smiled, realizing that the magic of Christmas wasn't just in gifts or celebrations, it was in spreading joy and bringing people together, even from miles apart. For a moment, he felt that invisible thread linking him to millions worldwide, a reminder that even fame and fortune pale compared to the power of love, gratitude, and shared happiness. The snow fell softly outside, twinkling like tiny stars, echoing the sparkle of hope he felt inside. The family gathered near the window, watching the snow blanket the village in a soft, glimmering white. Outside, lanterns flickered like tiny stars, and the world seemed to pause, holding its breath for a moment of pure magic. Ronaldo stood behind his children, wrapping his arms around them, feeling their warmth and hearing their excited whispers about the day's surprises. He glanced at the Christmas tree, now glowing beautifully with twinkling lights, ornaments shimmering, and tinsel sparkling like diamonds. The laughter, joy, and love filling the room created an invisible magic, stronger than anything stadium applause could ever bring. In that instant, he understood that this was the victory that mattered most, when not measured in goals or trophies, but in hearts touched and memories made. For a brief moment, Ronaldo closed his eyes and breathed deeply. The quiet crackle of the fireplace, the soft fall of snow, and the gentle hum of Christmas music intertwined perfectly, creating a rhythm that resonated deep within him. Every smile, every hug, every twinkle of light was a reminder that even the greatest stars shine brighter when surrounded by love and family. As the night grew quieter, he whispered softly, almost to himself, "This is the magic of Christmas outside." A single snowflake drifted toward the window, catching the light as if the universe itself had joined in the celebration. The camera slowly panned out, leaving Ronaldo and his family in the warm, glowing embrace of the moment. The village shimmering like a scene from a dream, and the story ending on the ultimate note of joy, wonder, and unforgettable holiday magic. If you felt the magic today, imagine what's coming next. Subscribe now